we welcome Gonzaga representatives to the stage. We'll issue our standard reminder that when you have a question, please raise your hand and we'll send a microphone your way. And if you could direct questions into the microphone and to specific student athletes, that would be helpful. We have student athletes Brandon Clark and Killian Tilley with us. And we'll ask Coach Few to make a brief opening statement and then turn it over to questions for student athletes. Once they're exhausted, we'll dismiss them and return to questions for Coach. Coach Few?
Well, just a great performance by my guys here. I thought they did just an excellent job in all facets of the game. Obviously, it started on the defensive end in the first half. After watching Fairleigh Dickinson, they came in on quite a roll. The guards were really shooting it well, and their bigs were athletic and very good around the rim, and so that kind of had us concerned. But by and large, our intensity was good. Our attention to detail was excellent, like it's been all year. And then that led to us getting out and running. And when we can get out and run like that and share the ball, I think we had over 20 assists. That's a really, really good thing. So very proud of them, and obviously good to get the first one under the belt so we can get moving on.
Questions for Gonzaga student athletes?
This is for Tilly. So you've had a rough go at it this season. How nice is it to, this is your most points you scored this season, how nice is it to really get out there and start feeling it a little bit?
It feels great. You know, being back with my teammates is really fun. I think they did a great job, playing with me, and I did a great job playing with them. So I think it was a pretty good night tonight. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And for Clark, Tilly had a pretty impressive dunk late in that second half. You know, you're usually the high flyer,
yeah.
And Tilly went over two guys there. How cool is that to see?
Yeah, no, that was actually really, really crazy. I feel like I've been waiting for that moment for him, honestly, because he actually, I don't think that he's had a dunk yet this season, and I've been waiting on it personally, and that one was just crazy dunk. It was I think it was over two guys, so obviously that just shows how bouncy he is, and plus if he can shoot threes too, and floaters too. So obviously he's a really, really tough player to deal with. So obviously if he can do that, we're going to be a really, really tough team to beat. Of course, man.
More questions?
FDU is one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country for either of you. What was your game plan to stop their three-point shooting?
Brandon?
Yeah, I would just say, we were just trying to not really gap off of, I believe his name is Edge, and also Jenkins, and also their four-man. I feel like that we did a really, really good job at, doing like two things at once. So kind of being like in the gap and then getting out on the shooter still. I just feel like we had a really, really good focus on the defensive end tonight doing that. So that made it harder for them to hit threes.
More questions for the student athletes? All right, we'll let these gentlemen go, and when they've left the stage, we'll turn it over to questions for Coach. Thank you, guys. Questions for Coach Few?
Mark, you guys are awesome offensively, and you have been most of the season. Everyone knows that, but I wondered what you thought defensively. You guys were so good, especially early. They just looked like you would really have punched them in the face, and they didn't really know how to recover.
Yeah, again, I loved our intensity from the jump. You nailed it, but also a great attention to detail. And we've been pretty good with that all year of finding the scouting report, understanding it, and then taking it out on the floor. And I thought the combination of both those, a great intensity, and then a physicality around the rim. What I saw from Fairleigh on film was they're playing three bigs now, and they're good size. They walk out on the floor. you don't think it's a 16 seed, just their presence. And thought we did a good job handling the physicality with our vertical contests and got up and blocked some shots, which we've done all year. And again, when we're doing that, that kind of gets us out running, and we're obviously at our best when we're out running.
So it was just about a month ago that Tilly left the game with that partially torn ligament in his foot. It was a pretty brutal moment for you. You talked about how much Tilly meant and how wonderful he was to coach. How much joy does it bring you to see him back out on the court?
I like just an absolute incredible amount of joy and satisfaction to see, somebody that worked so hard, had such a great year last year for us. And then, the practice before we go down to play Florida State, he kind of has this fluke injury, so he wasn't able to obviously to play in that game, and then he had to miss a bunch of the offseason, kind of getting back in the fold, and then hurt his foot again and had surgery. And actually, it's funny you say that because with the date, because right the night it happened, the trainer and I and Tills were, looking at this. Okay, we're going to play on the Thursday or the Friday. Okay, here's what we got to work with. And it's a plantar fascia tear, but I think we can do this. And he did a great job staying positive. I mean, he had a bad run of luck there, so it's just awesome to see. And I think you guys can all see, if you forgot. I mean, he's a hell of a player.
Mark, Zach did so much for you guys tonight. 13 points,
Yep.
7 assists, 6 rebounds.
Yeah, 7 assists.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I think he would probably say he did, he only went 4 for 12. He'd probably be mad at how he shot it. But I was curious, when you watched him when he was in high school and AAU, did you imagine that he could do this, that he could really fill a stat sheet for you? Or did you think he would be mostly a shooter?
Well, I mean, obviously we hoped we could get some development out of him. I mean, I was happened to be able to watch the game. I think he had 14 or 15 threes in one of the back gyms in Vegas. And obviously that's what really initially caught my eye. But the other thing that always caught my eye during the recruiting process with Zach was just what a great leader he was. Simeon's got an awesome history of basketball, and he was without a doubt the leader on that team, and he's really rounded into quite a leader for us also. And I think I'm probably most proud of that. And then he was the guy that spent most of the night on Darnell Edge, who is an excellent player and came in on just an absolute roll. And Snacks did a nice job, making it a tough night for him.
More questions for Coach? All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, you got it.
we welcome Fairleigh Dickinson representatives to the stage, student athletes Darnell Edge and Mike Holloway Jr. and Coach Greg Herenda. We'll follow our normal protocol. We'll ask Coach Herenda to make an opening statement real briefly and then turn it over to questions to the student athletes. We ask that when you have a question, please indicate so. We'll send a microphone your way. Direct your question into the microphone and to a specific student athlete if you can. That makes it go a little bit smoother. And we'll go ahead and take our brief opening statement from Coach.
Yes, I'd just like to thank everyone for covering this great event. Congratulate Gonzaga on a tremendous performance. I think they were rested, ready, and maybe a little angry that they did not win their conference championship, and they played incredibly well on both ends of the ball. I'm so proud of my team. I felt that, it was a really tough first half to go through, but again, what happened was these kids rallied, and our goal was to win the second half, and we lost by 2 points, and that might seem trivial to some, but we don't quit. We stayed together, and these two guys next to me are what college basketball is all about, and our third senior, Nadi Basiri, who made that basket, and I probably should have got teed up for running on the floor. But he was out for 30 games or so, and with a real bad back injury, and that was kind of our victory tonight, that we played a great team and fought and never quit, but we were beaten soundly by a team that has the potential to win a national championship.
Questions for Darnell Edge and Mike Holloway Jr., please.
Zach Braziller, New York Post. Darnell, could you just describe, the range of emotions? For the last few weeks, you win your NEC title, you win the first tournament game in school history, then you come here and obviously, face one of the best teams in the country and and lose. But just kind of what the last few weeks have been like for you guys.
It's just been a great experience for all of us. Being able to get back and win a championship and then get to the tournament and win a game is just history. So it's something I know I'll never forget. Me and Mike have, been a long way. So I'm just proud of him. I'm proud of this team. And I'm real happy and just proud of everything that we've accomplished.
For both the players, Gonzaga is awesome offensively. They have been all season, and everyone knows that about them. But how good were they defensively tonight, especially in the first half?
Darnell?
They were real good. They were real long, athletic. It was hard to get down the lane on them, and when you did, they have shot blockers, so it was just difficult. On the ball defense, they're really good and active. So, yeah.
Mike?
They were very, very, very great on defense. We know that national championship capability team. Like Darnell said, they got very good length, and once we got downhill, we weren't used to that size, but we were fighting. We kept pushing, and all we wanted to do was let everyone know we weren't going to quit.
For either player, have you ever seen a team like that or played against a team like that?
Darnell?
No, not that offensively sound. I mean, defensively, Cincinnati a few years ago was pretty good defensively like that, but this team was so much firepower offensively.
Darnell, what are you going to remember the most about the last few weeks? Is there going to be one moment that's going to stick out with you the most and stay with you for the years later?
Nothing in particular, just the moment when we won the championship, running on the court, cutting down the nets, and then winning the game, 2 nights ago was big for us. It was history, so, my phone wouldn't stop going off. It was just a great celebration, and I was happy, filled with emotion, something I'll never forget.
Anything more for student athletes? All right, we'll let them go, and we'll return with questions for Coach as soon as they've left the stage. Thank you, guys. Questions for Coach Herenda?
Greg, when you're playing a team that good and they get hot and they're just blitzing you guys, how do you make sure that at halftime your kids are not completely deflated and that you did play them so well the second half?
Yeah, that's the core of our team, that we just rebound. Our first championship year was 2016. We lost 15 straight games in 2015. So in 15 we lost 15 straight, and then in 2016 we win a championship. So we fight back. We have resilient. Rich Conrad was an alum that passed 2 years ago, Hall of Famer. We hung up his jersey, and that's all he said. He goes, Greg, your team is so resilient. And so was Rich Conrad. But that's just how we practice every day and how we play and how we approach life. You have to get off the canvas and fight, even though you know you're not going to win. And that's what the kids did in the second half, and I was proud. I'm still not happy. I thought we could have played better in the first half. I honestly think, and I don't make excuses, but the turnaround from Dayton to here, Darnell Edge could barely run. Mike is a load. It's hard for him to get up the floor. It's not an excuse. It's what it is. And that's why a 1 seed gets to rest, and you have to get on a charter right after the game and fly. And so that played a lot into the game. But take zero. Gonzaga is awesome. And they were, we watched a lot of tape, but all the credit goes to Gonzaga. But we were banged up and tired, and they took complete advantage of that, and they should. But again, to answer your question, man, we just keep on fighting.
Coach, yesterday you talked about how both teams were fast and quick, and
Yeah.
the difference would be that they were big, and
Yeah.
their three bigs really took it to you tonight. We got 50 points between them. Just talk about that.
Yeah, no, we knew their size was really going to hurt. And the key to the game, believe it or not, we gave up 87 points, was us not scoring. If we score, then we can maybe get back and protect our goal line. It felt like a football game. Because when we didn't score, they were out, and it didn't matter if we went back zone or man. They just come at you and come at you. And they're bigger and stronger. I don't know if they're faster. We went to the foul line more than Gonzaga. We drove by Gonzaga. But when we drove by, we found 2 more Gonzaga players. And in our league, generally, we'll drive by a guy, and there'll be 1 player, then we can make another pass, and we get a great shot. So it's a different level. And the Zags tonight showed that level. And it's plain and simple to everyone who was at the game. But just a lot of credit for Mark Few, just the way he handled that game. When it gets out of hand, you just know how coaches handle games. And he did it incredibly professionally, and he did it the right way. And that's why their program is a program that I look up to, and all the people at our level in our conference look up to Gonzaga, because guess what? At one point, they weren't Gonzaga. And he and their players did it, and I respect those guys a whole heck of a lot.
Greg, what does it mean for your program to get here, to win a tournament game and, just get this stage?
Yep. Well, it was the next step. We lost to Dayton really bad, like tonight, against Florida Gulf Coast, and our goal was to get back and validate, and we got back and validate. Now our goal, we just talked about it, is to get back and win a first-round game, not a first-4 game. And that's hard. That's really hard. And it takes good players. It takes good coaches. It takes a little bit of luck. But tonight, I don't know who in America would play Gonzaga and beat them tonight. So I told our guys, man, I want your heads as high as a kite, and you deserve to be that. They're champions in every sense of the word, except in the final score.
We have time for 3 more. We'll start here, and then we have 2 over here.
Greg, can you talk a little bit about the logistics of, I assume you
Yep.
got on a flight Tuesday night, and did you get here really late Tuesday? And
Yeah,
then
with the time change, I don't know what time we got here. Brian, what time did we get here? Brad? We got here 1:30 at night, and then the time change really kind of helped us. But we got here on Wednesday morning and played Gonzaga on Thursday afternoon, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, it's just, to answer your question, I'm being factual. So
have you had any sort of turnaround like that before in like a
we play
non-conference tournament or a
in
conference
our
tournament?
conference, we play Thursday, Saturday. But generally, we're playing either home games or our road games are, we've had some tough ones. Like our last road trip, we went from Emmitsburg, Maryland to New Britain, Connecticut. But we got on a bus and then slept, and it was more, it was. But I'm not complaining at all. I'm just giving you the facts that it was a tough turnaround, but that's the deal. That's the deal, and I think there's so many coaches out there that would, including myself, prior to getting here, would die to do what we did, and we did it, and we enjoyed it. We were taken care of first class. My athletic director and president were with us every step of the way, making sure that we were treated like champions and treated like men, and I have zero complaints. But
Coach, can you expound a little bit more on Nadi and what that meant to you and to the program? Because that seemed like a special moment within a tough loss.
yeah, no, Nadi is one of the nicest kids and grown men. He's a grown man now. That to know him on our campus, he's just like the Pied Piper. He walks around and there's love, and he's a great kibitzer, as my mother would say. He just could talk, and you just love him. And when he couldn't play, it really hurt. And then as we went down, he's like, Coach, I just want to dress. I'm feeling better. Can I dress? And can I potentially play? And I said, Nadi, if you could play, I'm going to play you. And tonight, our trainer, Dan King, said that, it would be safe for him to play. And his back was really, he couldn't travel. You guys know out there, when you have a bad back, you can't do anything. And how that ball bounced to him, and then how he, lumbered to the basket. And then I'm mad at him, though. I said, Nadi, I need 50. That was our second goal, was to get to 50. And he's got 49 on the foul line. But I don't even think he knew where he was. So Nadi Basiri, man, he's going to be a very successful person. Write that name down. He's a business major and a beautiful person. And if he sits down for an interview, he's got the job. Trust me.
Last question.
Well, Coach, it's kind of the same question, but can you describe the emotion you felt? I mean, when he made that I know it was not a great night.
It was just, if you can get beat by 38 points and be euphoric and hug somebody, it's special. You know what I'm saying? That's a hard thing to do, be on national TV and get a little bit exposed and be in front of the camera, and then a guy cuts it to 38, and you're the happiest guy in the building. It's a special moment, or there's something wrong with me, and I think it's something in between. But Nadi Basiri, and it's every one of our players has a story in this tournament. Every single one has a story, and Nadi's story just amplifies what college athletics is about, and it's way more than advancing and surviving. It's life, and he's going to have a great life.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you very much, everybody. Yeah. No. Oh, yeah, that'd be great. Bill, I appreciate everything, man. Yeah. I enjoyed having you up here. Yeah, it's fun.